that a lot of people have a misconception of how far away ski areas are to Denver. And, there are some ski areas that are quite close, but I think a lot of people need to kind of have a reality check on how long it takes to get up to the mountains to go skiing on a given weekend, for example. So first off, that word I just said, weekend, that gives me a little bit of cringe and PTSD just thinking about weekend warrior, meaning going up to ski on the weekends, because I got spoiled. As I said, I lived up in Aspen for about 15 years and had a few seasons where I got over 100 days a year, and lived there for a few years where I could even walk to the ski lift from where I lived. And I got spoiled. And I know I'm not expecting a pity party from anybody. It was some of the best years of my life, but I just got to remind you guys that get a little bit more of a deep understanding of where Denver's located when it comes to the distance, but also the time it gets to get to these places on a normal, typical, like midweek day versus the weekends. A lot of these resorts, they look close on the map, but like, for example, Breckenridge or Vail, let's use Vail for this example. What could only take about a 90-minute drive on a Tuesday midweek commute with no bad weather. On a Saturday morning, maybe we had a big storm on Thursday and Friday, and it's even more excitement about going up to ski Powder. That same drive on a Saturday morning at, let's just say 6 or 7 a.m., it could literally take you 3 hours, not only just to get there, then you get to Vail and you realize that every single main parking lot is, for one, totally full already. Number two, it's charging you $45 to park your car there for the day. And once you park finally and pay most likely to park, then you got solid probably 25 or 30 minutes walking in your ski boots just to get to the lift, to then wait in a 30-minute lift line just to get up onto the mountain. So I have a lot of friends that, have moved out here that are super excited about skiing, and it only takes a couple of days like that to really kind of leave this bad taste in your mouth. So I don't want to scare you guys away from skiing. Skiing is one of my favorite activities to do in Colorado, but you can have such a better experience if you just have a little bit of strategy around when you go, and ideally finding a few other people that also are really into skiing and similar skill level as you, and then just chip in on staying up there for a weekend. A really good tip is to either take Friday or ideally take Monday off and make it a 3-day weekend. That way you're only having to do that commute up or down one of those during one of the busier times. And then that other time that you're getting up there is, on a weekday, hopefully, where you're not dealing with any traffic at all. I'll just share one story on this before we move on. When I lived up in Aspen, I had one of my best friends up there. His name was Jeff, and he grew up there. When we were in college, this is actually where I met Jeff. Every, January, we would commute or drive with a group of friends from when we were going to school in college in Boulder. We would go up to Aspen in January for the X Games. X Games is this awesome, I don't know how many years now it's been in Aspen, but I think maybe almost 2 decades now. But it is just this awesome free event where there's all the best extreme sports going on for the winter. And we would go up there every year and just enjoy it. We'd ski. We'd also just go to some of the actual events like the half pipe, and they'd even have snowmobiling, all kinds of cool stuff. We had an experience though where one year, it was a big snowstorm. X Games brings a ton of traffic from Denver, especially since a lot of these events are free. So it was a very busy weekend already to be on I-70, our highway that we take to get east and west to and from the mountains. We actually had a packed car in my friend Jeff's Subaru, a little WRX, so it's like a small little hatchback, fits 5 people. Of course, we had 5 of us, all college guys, packed full of our ski gear and all of our bags in the back. If you guys have been skiing, you guys obviously know there's a lot of gear associated with that, which takes up a lot of room. We were packed to the gills in this Subaru, and it took us almost 11 hours. It's not a typo, 11 hours to get from Aspen back to Boulder. We got to one part, the road was closed. We had to wait for like 2 hours. Finally, it got reopened. It's all because of the bad weather and just the high volume of cars on the road for this. We got a little bit further, same thing. A lot of people ended up just getting hotels for the night, but unfortunately, we had just missed the exit to be able to kind of make that decision and do that. So now we were basically just stuck on Vail Pass, just waiting to get all the way through these different challenging sections of I-70 until we finally made it back to Boulder, and it literally was like 11 hours. That was the worst experience I've ever had on a highway with ski traffic, but hopefully you will never experience anything like that. But again, just making the point that it's not as close as you think, but it is definitely worth trying because skiing is an incredible thing to do anywhere in the world. But if you guys haven't really gotten into that yet, I just hope you guys at least give it a shot.